Hello everybody and welcome to World of Washaba. My name is Shawna and on my channel I talk about all the things going on in my world, and that's going to be homeschooling, obviously. I am a homeschooling mom to two sets of twins. I have 5-year-old twins and 7-year-old twins. And secondly, Color Street, which is my obsession here. If you're interested in learning more about these 100% nail polish strips that are just beautiful, I'll put that information below as well. And third, of course, all things bookish. I have a podcast that I do with my friend Lizz. It's called Getting Bookish with Shawna and Lizz. You can catch it anywhere you listen to podcasts. We also upload them to YouTube, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Getting Bookish. So we would love to have you join us over there as well. Today, I'm going to talk about what we do for our morning basket. Now, there are so many ideas and creative things that you can do for your morning basket, and it doesn't even have to be in the morning. There's people that do it in the afternoon or in the evening, but we still call it a morning basket. So I'm not an incredibly creative person. I've seen some morning baskets that are seasonal, or they're like by month, or they're very themed and amazing. And I have tried to do that, but since that's like not a natural talent of mine, it stresses me out so much. So I have come to realize that I'm just going to put some things in here that we love, things that correspond what we're kind of going over at this time. I don't change it out monthly. I don't change it out seasonally. I just change it out after I feel like we're getting bored with something. So if I look around and notice that they're kind of glassy-eyed or they're not really participating anymore, then I'll change it out, because that's no fun to have to keep doing something every day that's just like not fun anymore. So I'll just show you the things that we have in here. I guess I could show you this. My basket is from IKEA, and it's like a rolly. Whoops, it's on wheels. So I had to lift it up on the table. All right, so let's start out with, where do we start? And then I'll show you what my kids kind of play with while we're doing our morning basket. We have a devotional book. This is not all we do for Bible. We have a whole like Bible routine that I can do another video on, but I do love this book and how they link science, because God created science. So I love this so much, and the kids love it. The pictures are great. We do a hymn study. So all we do with this is we will pick out a hymn and I'll read it to them. We'll read this page over here. This talks about who wrote it, when they wrote it, why they wrote it, and that's really great to have kind of an understanding of why a song was written. And then I will look it up on YouTube and we'll play the song. And we usually stay on the same hymn for about a week, and then we pick a new one. I have this Usborne Illustrated Dictionary, so whenever I'm reading anything and they say, what does that word mean? I can very easily tell them what it means, but what I have been trying to do is show them how to look up words in a dictionary. So what was I think the last word was diligent. One of them said, what does diligent mean? And so we looked it up, and I just kind of teach them how to use a dictionary, because I think that's very important. These are like little critical thinking books. They're very easy for them. In fact, this is the pre-K one. I have a first grade one that I can't find, but these are so easy, but they love them so much. So it's basically like this one. These 3 kites in the sky belong to John, Mary, and Lou. Lou's kite is the longest, so now do you know who's who? Trace each kite back to the ground, then name each flyer that you found. So they have to kind of, decide from the little, I totally lost my brain thought there. Riddle, thank you. Thank you, brain. And then same with this, just by figuring out the little riddle, what the answer is. And they love those. Then we are also really kind of digging deep into our body, because I feel like, especially at this age, 5 and 7, they have all the body questions in the world, right? They want to know everything from the gross stuff to the, whatever stuff. So again, Us Born to the rescue, see inside your body. They love these flat books. We don't have to take anything too seriously. We just go through, and they each pick a couple flaps to open up and we read about it, and they love it so much. And they retain this because they like doing the lift the flaps. The pictures are great, and so they'll just blurt out the information that they learn at random. This is another one, questions and answers about your body. Same thing, just some different flaps to open up and read. Another one, this is an older book. So I got these from the library. They were 25 cents each, and I got the entire science collection, A Child's First Library of Learning. I think it was like 20 books or something on all different subjects. So on this one, I'll just open to like a random page. Actually, we did this one. Why does our skin wrinkle when we take a bath? And so we just talk about that. Why does our nose run? Oh, that's lovely. So we'll go over some of that. And then, I have this one. I was wondering where my other one was. This one was pretty cool. This is the human body. They love this one. We're going to build this eyeball here. It's like an eyeball mobile. And then we're going to put together a giant skeleton. They really like this one because this is a little bit more, lifelike, I guess. So they think that it's, for big kids. So we'll talk about the different systems that we have, and we'll kind of thumb through this. Now, I don't use all of these, and it really depends on their attention level that morning. We might do one book. We might do all of them. We might spend a long time in one or two of the books, but we just kind of rotate them. So if I haven't used one in a couple days, I'll use that one. And then, let's see. This we actually just finished going through. This is A Light for My Path, ABC book based on Psalm 119. And it is just, it's an alphabet book, and this stays the same right here. God's word, law, statutes, decrees, commands, and precepts are faithful, perfect. It goes through the alphabet, universal. And then you have Psalm 119 here in the back. And they really like that because it's like, the letter goes with the word and the animal on the picture. So that's just fun for them to look at. We do all of my books fell over. We do our poetry study. Right now we're doing Robert Louis Stevenson because that's my daughter's favorite. Her favorite poem is The Swing. So usually she wants to read that to everybody every single day, but I'll read a different poem. And I love these books so much. This is poetry for young people because in the front of them, you can read about the poet. So I'll read one paragraph a day. So if it's a small paragraph, it's still one paragraph. And I'll just read one paragraph a day because that would be too much in one sitting to read the entire thing. And then I just try to, the next day I'll be like, do you remember anything that we read about Robert Louis Stevenson? And I also like it because in the poems themselves, like for this one, Night and Day, it gives some vocabulary words down here. And before I read the poem, I'll read them these vocabulary words, and then I'll say, when you hear those words in the poem, I want you to raise your hand. That way I know that they're listening, and they're really, really listening to them. So I'll say a portal is a door or an entrance. Diminish, to make less or small, little by little. So as I'm reading it, I'll kind of emphasize the word as I get to it to give them a little bit of help. But they're usually really good at it. And so when I get to portal, they raise their hand, and then I'll say, what does portal mean? And a lot of times they'll remember from what I said here on the vocabulary words. But I like that it's in here because sometimes in poetry, there's words that are used that we don't really use today in our everyday vocabulary. So I like that it gives them those words. And I have a couple of these. The next one that we're going to do, where did it go, is going to be Emily Dickinson. And then I think we're going to switch over to Shel Silverstein. And we also have Maya Angelou. I also have Robert Frost. And then we're probably going to do a fun one like, I'm looking at my books right now, Jack Prelutsky, which I love his poems because they're just so silly and funny. But I usually spend maybe about a month on a poet. We also have our art study. Right now we're doing Vincent van Gogh. This comes with, I think, 8 of his famous poems. And so we'll do one a week. We started out with Starry Night. And we will go to the part in the book that talks about Starry Night. Obviously, that's not Starry Night, but we'll read about the picture that we're talking about. And then in the front of the book, it's kind of like how the poetry one is set up, the story of Vincent van Gogh. So we'll read one paragraph. So this goes really fast because to read a paragraph takes maybe a minute, and then I show, especially if we're not learning a new picture, I'll show the picture and I'll say, what was the name of this picture? They'll say Starry Night. But when we come to a new picture, I tell them the name. This is Bedroom in Arliss. We talk about the colors. Do you see anything the same that reminds you of this picture? And so we'll talk about that. And then we always review. So if we have a bunch of pictures that we've already done, I read my paragraph and then I say, okay, what was the name of this one? Starry Night. What is this one? Bedroom in Arliss. We haven't gotten to that one. But we'll do self-portrait, and you can really tell. You can really see the strokes in here, like Starry Night. So we'll go through it like that. And then we'll stick on the artist for about 2 months, since there's 8 pictures. Let's see. I don't do that. Oh, I always read this. I randomly open this up, or I'll let the kids pick a page, and we just read a question. So this question is, when were the other planets created? Asked by Joshua, age 8. And then I read this. So this is just basically some like apologetics type questions. There's, I think, 8 little books in this series. They're so cute. And that takes like a minute. We also may go over some of our habit training. This is Laying Down the Rails by Simply Charlotte Mason. And you don't have to go in order. Usually what I'll do is I'll just pick a habit that I think we need to work on. And so the last one we did was obedience. And that's under the category of a moral habit. There's also mental habits, and that's like memorizing, observation, remembering. There's decency and propriety habits like modesty, kindness, courtesy. I think we need to go over neatness next. There's physical habits, religious habits. So you go to the page that you are working on. For instance, let me just see what this next one is. Imagining. And there's a couple workbooks with this, but there's like little stories that you can read, and it kind of teaches the child how to create that habit and stick with it. There's questions to ask about imagining. There's quotes, and how to just kind of perfect that habit. Integrity, usefulness. It's just really good. I really like this. And let's see, there is two other things in here. Oh, no, 3. So since we're doing the body, I also, no. I don't have, I thought I had the food question in the food one in here, but I don't. I add this in here. So we have our math, another Usborne book. This is so cute, you guys. If you have somebody who is like struggling with math or even just enjoys math, this is so fun. The Lift the Flap books with adding and subtraction. We also have flashcards that we'll go over, and this is just your basic addition and subtraction for grade 1. It has clocks too. And we have a game. Sometimes I'll switch out the game in here. Have you guys tried these Professor Noggins? These are insects. This is so cute. I'll show it to you really quick. It's very, very simple, and you can take it with you to restaurants. So if you ever go out to a restaurant, you know how the kids are like, I'm hungry, what are we gonna do? And they give you those maps to color, or the things to color on with the pure wax crayon that doesn't really work, and they get bored with it in like 2 minutes. So if you put this is all you need for the game right here. You can put that in a baggie in your purse, and while you're waiting for your food, you can say, all right, let's play trivia game. And you roll this die. It just has numbers 1 through 3 on it. And you decide if you're going to play the easy way or the hard way. We play the easy way because they're little. And you just put the cards up on the table. Oh, I hate these bugs. So earwig. So if I am going first and I roll a 1, I'm going to read question 1. And there's easy and hard questions down here. And I'm going to ask it to the person next to me. I'm going to say, am I an insect? The person's going to say yes, and they get to keep the card. The other questions on here, like number 2, is true or false. You would say, I earned the name earwig because I crawl into the ears of humans and other animals. And so the correct answer is false. And then number 3, do I have wings? The answer is yes. That's gross that they have wings. I didn't know that. And so they're just little trivia questions, and there's ladybugs and stink bugs, and they just love wolf spiders. They just love learning about the different bugs and stuff. So that keeps their attention. And I think we also have space, we have ocean animals, and I think geography. They have a whole bunch. So you can kind of find whatever it is that you're going. I wonder if they have a body one. That would be great, wouldn't it, for this particular morning basket? Okay, so that's everything that we have in our morning basket. Like I said, I just change it out when we're starting to get bored. Now, some of the things that I allow them to play with, because they like to be busy, and especially my sons, if I told them to sit still and just listen, they would retain nothing because their entire focus would be on sitting still and listening, which means they wouldn't be listening at all. So I give them something that they can do with their hands or to play with, and they're retaining everything. And because I'll ask them questions, hey, what do you remember? And they'll regurgitate some stuff. So one of the best things, if it's just something little, is Aaron's Putty. I think that's what it's called. So they have the really cool Putty. We get the little tiny ones, and we have a couple of them because they like to pick their color. And it's just Putty that you can play with. And there's like Galaxy Putty, and there's some look like oil stains, and some are like fluorescent, and they're just really cool, and they love those. Some of the other things that we do, because they know that they can all go grab a box. But the thing is, whatever they grab is what they keep through the entire morning basket. So they don't get to grab something and then 3 minutes later say, I want something else, I don't want to play with this. And they're very good with that. They completely understand that. They know that what they get is what they get. And no trading either. You can't trade with your sibling. I used to let them, but that started causing fights, and it was just, ugh. I'm like, this is not how our day is supposed to be going. So I'm like, you get what you get when you pick it. The girls especially, the boys play with this sometimes too, but the girls especially love this. It's just a little garden that you put the flowers together, and you can make different, flowers and stuff. They love that one. That's probably one of their favorites. This one is Brain Flakes. All of these are very quiet, so we don't let them play with, we have some snap toys, and that would be just really obnoxious. So Brain Flakes, they can play with those. This I showed in another video. These are Gio Sticks. So you can see, well, that's a really hard card. Let me show you one that's a little bit easier. You get these cards, and you don't have to use the cards, but for instance, like there's a lobster and a chicken, and the sticks are color-coded, so you just pick what stick you're working with, and you put it together just like the card shows. And there's a whole bunch of ideas, and there's some that are really easy, like just shapes, basic shapes and stuff. But they really like that one too. Another thing that I'll let them do is puzzles. We have a whole bunch of puzzles. They are more than welcome to do any of our puzzles. We also have giant bins of kinetic sand. And then we put like bugs and like spoons and Play-Doh, like Play-Doh stamp things in them, like cookie cutters and stuff. So they can play with that. Here's another thing. These are the shapes so they can get this. They can play with this by themselves or use one of the sheets. There's like 20 sheets in here, and there's like different, like either designs or pictures, a flower, there's a butterfly somewhere, a kite. So that's it. And I think that's about it. We probably have a couple other things, but that is our morning basket. And I know it seems like a lot, but it usually, on average, is about 30 minutes. Sometimes it's shorter if like somebody's just having a bad day, or sometimes it's longer because they're really attentive, they're having fun. Usually it's longer because we keep playing the game. But average, I would say about 30 minutes, and we get in a lot of good information. So we usually wake up in the morning. They do their morning folders in the morning, which I just did a video on that. That was the previous video. And they do the morning folders, we eat breakfast, then we do our morning basket, then we kind of play, clean up, and then we sit down for the rest of our school stuff. That's how our day goes. I hope that was helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please click like and subscribe. It helps me to be seen by other people who are looking for content like this. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.